Real shrine hours with Goat vs. Fish. A few hours of verses to spend together. We've got a few things to do. Why not do them with you, with the congregation? So that is what we are here for. The Shrine of Goat vs. Fish is here for your eternal adoration. Adore Goat vs. Fish. Adore Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish is a door that opens to a place that contains goat and fish versing. A door that leads you away from fences that hold you back. And a door that leads to a congregation and a community that sometimes we feel we sorely lack. So welcome. Welcome. Even now, you may be having a snack. Might be having 2001 pita chips. Hello, 2001 pita chips. Welcome to the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. Welcome to the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. You are fairly new to Goat vs. Fish. You have joined since the morning motivationals of Goat vs. Fish. The morning motivationals continue, and celebration for fish. We wonder when you look into the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. Is there any character out there that resonates with you? Yes. Who? The backwards troll. Ah, yes. The backwards troll. While all others look towards the light of the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish, the backwards troll looks away somehow. Flashing its full display onto Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, who stares in awe at this display, this grotesquely display of the troll. And yes, the posterior. Goat vs. Fish, we put this posterior here, in part, in protestation of all the rules and regulations that prevent Goat vs. Fish and all of the goat and fish from freely expressing themselves as they would want to be out here in Versmerica and on platforms such as YouTube and Twitch. That pink-haired troll doesn't give a flying fence about your regulation and plasters its butt all over the screen. Is that Bob Ross? No, that is Rob Boss. That is Rob Boss. They are closely related. Some might say kin. How could you forget? It's easy to forget. It can be easy to forget. Goat vs. Fish now posts real shrine hours in the chat of Goat vs. Fish. Real shrine hours. In the Discord of Goat vs. Fish. Easy to forget, Central Sloth. What are you doing up so late? What are you doing up so late? You first. Although we already know what you're doing. You're watching Goat vs. Fish. You're grinding too hard, you're whining too hard. Oh, you're drunk and you're high, and you're telling Goat vs. Fish what to do? What a surprise, what a surprise. Yes, Peter Chip, we are chatting with also those who are on YouTube. In case you hear, sometimes you'll hear Goat vs. Fish speaking to you and to others, and you wonder, is Goat vs. Fish true? Is Goat vs. Fish true? Why, yes. You commit to the bit so hard, you have my absolute respect. Well, appreciation, Sensual Sloth. We thought there might be a verses that you kept coming back to Goat vs. Fish. Even now, Goat vs. Fish is making some purchases. There's some new technologicalifications that Goat vs. Fish needs to enhance even further the living streams of Goat vs. Fish. But as long as we are simply going to engage in some humble purchases, Goat vs. Fish thought to give you all a place of congregation. Maybe Goat vs. Fish isn't committing to the bit. Maybe it just is Goat vs. Fish. Maybe it just is. Art. Split. Mix. 4. Passive. 4. Channel. Mixer. I met you at the Adult Swim Fest many, many years ago. And I was on the fence then, but now I am for unification. Well, a goat can be for unification. A fish can be for unification. And a fence sitter can be for unification. But being for unification does not mean you're not on the fence. The only way off the fence is to choose goat or fish. What character are you drawn to? We think Goat vs. Fish is just drawn to that big and mighty verses. We're just drawn to that big and mighty verses. Appreciation to Jedi Grind, who gifts a subscription to Pita Chip 2001. Appreciation for your contribution to the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. And celebration for Goat. It's not much, says Keepa or Keepo, but it means something to someone or another, doesn't it? Doesn't it now? We are drawn to the mighty verses itself. Pita Chip 2001. That is where Goat vs. Fish resides. Goat vs. Fish now goes to purchase some gear. The gear of Goat vs. Fish. The gear of Goat vs. Fish. Let's have a look at what it is. Cookies Under New Tech follows Goat vs. Fish. Appreciation, Cookies Under New Tech, a new follower of Goat vs. Fish. Are you goat or are you fish? Lysergic Funeral, fish, welcome. Goat vs. Fish, welcome to our moderation. Goat vs. Fish is here in celebration for fish. We're going to purchase some new gear. Art split mix 4, passive 4-channel mixer splitter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goat vs. Fish will purchase this versus. Jedi Grind. Let us have a look. Ah, you are either nearing ready for consumption or have had it already. What's on the menu this versus? But what, the fence Goat vs. Fish didn't want to subscribe to your Sweetwater hot deals? The fence. We just wanted to log into the verses. Oh well. Next verse BP-3. Exelines. Balanced. Patch cables. Quarter-inch. TRS. Cables. So many cables. And here we are. And here we are. That must be the verses. Bundle of 2? Bundle of 2? Oh, it's going to be a banger, all right. 3-foot 2-pack? This seems like the verses here. This seems like the verses here. Many cables of Goat vs. Fish. So many cables of Goat vs. Fish. So many cables of Goat vs. Fish. Versus American dollars. Add. The continuing investment of Goat vs. Fish. The continuing investment of Goat vs. Fish. We invest in all the verses. We are pleased to hear this, Sensual Sloth 69, that Goat vs. Fish makes you laugh. Laughter is a beautiful part of Goat vs. Fish we would never want anyone to do without. Even the fence sitter who laughs at Goat vs. Fish. Little do they comprehension that Goat vs. Fish is providing value to them. They think when they mock Goat vs. Fish that they merely assert their power over Goat vs. Fish. They do not comprehension the service that Goat vs. Fish provides to them. A service both social and emotional. Hippiasha, our goat. Celebration for Hippiasha goat. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish, check out. Goat vs. Fish checks out. And sensual indeed. The shipping shall be free. Let the shipping be free. Goat vs. Fish requires no special financing. Goat vs. Fish is special enough. Ah, you are a proud goat, Hippiasha. That is fine to hear. Do you see the goat statue? The goat statue was purchased by Dragon Balls 325 to add to the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish, and there it is, the goat. Another goat in the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. Pitiably, there are not as many statues that just say the fish, though we could make a statue that has a fish on it and it says the fish. That would be pretty great. Your business order will be received in 3 days. Celebration. Process, 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 process. Thank you for your order. Celebration. Shrine time is an interesting development to the lore of Goat vs. Fish, indeed. Indeed. Shrine time is special. Now it is shared by an intimate few. Perhaps, before we know it, many, many more will gather here. Goat vs. Fish was just consuming some YouTube, speaking about places that we used to go. Before the advent of the interwebiverse, Goat and Fish would go to meet in a place, and sometimes you did not know who would be there. You would simply go to this space in hopes of verses. Sometimes there would be goat, sometimes there would be fish. You never know who was going to show. There was no way to make communication before to see who would be. The Shrine of Goat vs. Fish reminds us of a place like this. You come to the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish, and you don't know who's going to show. It's going to be a different verses every time. Here, at the Goat vs. Fish Shrine. Thank you for your order. The order has been ordered. Next, Goat vs. Fish. So Goat vs. Fish, we did that versus. We ordered that versus. Goat vs. Fish. Appreciation to Jedi Grind with the gifted verses. Goat vs. Fish. Goes to the sound alerts. I've lost the game! Cookies under new tech. I've lost the game. Tell us what happened. Tell us of your terrible and horrible loss. Was it the game of lurking forever and not saying anything to GoatVsFish? If you get that reference, well, GoatVsFish has heard of the game. Some say GoatVsFish is the game. Some say the game is GoatVsFish. Is that the game to which you refer? GoatVsFish. If you get the reference. What is GoatVsFish's favorite ice cream? Fish food. Ben and Jerry's fish food. Curious about the new tech, are you? We have also had goat milk ice cream. Great answer. Oh, yes. GoatVsFish has great answers. It's not the first verses we'd had to contemplation, our favorite ice cream. So here we are. Here's the Art Split Max 4 passive 4-channel mixer. So GoatVsFish, the verses is that It's Sunshine is going to... It's Sunshine wants stereo audio mixes in all the verses. And now the mixer of GoatVsFish that we have is much larger than this. GoatVsFish has a much larger mixer than this. But seeing as we are having more guests on the morning motivational and more musicians, the mixer is starting to get quite full. And Sunshine likes a stereo mix on both the guitar and the piano when both have activation, but that requires many inputs. Requires a lot of inputs to GoatVsFish. So this will allow Sunshine to put a stereo guitar and a stereo piano both into this little verses, which will then output to the mixer of GoatVsFish. It will allow It's Sunshine to control some of the audio properties of the gain of the guitar and the piano from where they are, and it will also free up some places on the mixer of GoatVsFish to have more microphones for more guests. So this is an auxiliary mixer to the mixer. It's a mixer augmentation. It's an augmentation celebration. It's an augmentation celebration. Now GoatVsFish wants to make some thumbnail for an upcoming verses of GoatVsFish. Goat like sunshine. Goat like to be in the sun. GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish versus the loneliness epidemic. So many headshots of GoatVsFish. So many from which to choose. But GoatVsFish, we think we already know. We think we already know. So many fine expressions of goat versus fish. We haven't looked at all of these in some verses. Ooh, we could go with this. This would be a fun verses. That verses, or should it be this verses? Of contemplation. Shall go with this. What a beautiful verses this is. Have a look at this. What? It's huge. Goat and fish in the verses of goat versus fish. Celebration. If you ever need a saxophone player, hit me up, okay? If we ever need a drunk and high saxophone player, we'll hit you up. We know where to find one. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Here we are. Now you can look at a little bit of photo editing of goat versus fish as the verses is happening, if that's to your interest. Scale. Scale down the verses. Goat versus fish. Transform. So we could do a verses like this. We could do a verses like this. How much goat versus fish do we want? Do we want the goat and fish in the verses? Do we want just the eye and the face of goat versus fish? How close do we want to get to goat versus fish in this verses? In this thumbnail of goat versus fish? It could just be like this. It could just be like this. Or it could include the goat and fish. Perhaps like this? We'll do this. So here's this versus. And now, the text. Loneliness. Loneliness. GoatVsFish wants a bigger font pack. GoatVsFish wants more fonts. Someone approached GoatVsFish. Knock, knock. Hello? What do you want? We've been speaking to some of your neighbors and they're unhappy about their internet speeds. Oh, really? Who sent you? Are you with Spectrum? Who sent you? AT&T. What do you offer to GoatVsFish? Well, have you spoken to your neighbors about what do you offer to GoatVsFish? Well, we can get you cheaper rates on your interwebiverse, depending on your plan, of course. What do you offer to GoatVsFish? What is your price that you're offering? Well, I wouldn't want to quote an exact price. You're wasting my time. Leave this place. This is a waste of energy. They laughed. They left GoatVsFish. They told us they could save us several American dollars, and then when asked, what is your price, they said, well, we couldn't tell you an exact versus. It's almost as if they don't know what the fence they're talking about. GoatVsFish was unconvinced. Unconvinced! Would you have been? Would you have been convinced? Who knows what fenciness GoatVsFish could have avoided? Loneliness. Top 5 consulting sites. Find a counselor. Interesting verses. You search for loneliness on the interwebiverse, immediately it goes, oh, you're one of them. You need help. How many of you feel loneliness? Perhaps that's what brings you to the shrine of GoatVsFish in the first place. Desire to connect with your fellow goat and fish. Was it now? What is this heart? Hippie-Asha has a heart. Purple pixel heart together for good 24. What's that all about? What's that all about? With whom are you together? And what is this good you speak of to Goat versus Fish? Goat versus Fish. Shadow. Shadow. Just like this. Just like this. Everyone's speaking about loneliness these verses, so why not Goat versus Fish? What's your day job? What's your day job, sensual sloth? This is the labor of Goat versus Fish. This is the labor of Goat versus Fish. Whether or not you choose to accept this. I am unemployed. Ah, celebration. Celebration for your lack of employment. We hear employment can be a lot of work. Oh, now you claim to be a leech. We thought you were a sloth. Fence sitters never quite know what they are. Well, maybe it's time you got off the fence then. Maybe it's time you went to do some hard verses. Do you seek employment, sensual sloth? Do you seek it? No, you do not. Well, then there you are. Seems like you are exactly where you wish to be. It's not an easy verses out there. Goat versus Fish understands. Goat versus Fish understands in our own way. You have moved. You have moved. You have moved to a new place. Portland. Portland. What brings you there? You will try again, Goat versus Fish. Appreciation, celebration, we're trying. Try again. Conventions of Goat versus Fish. Videos of Goat versus Fish. And then Goat versus Fish. We want to do that versus, but we also want to have a versus of Goat versus Fish. Simply Goat versus Fish buy a tree. Goat versus Fish buy a tree. The tree of the knowledge of goat and fish. What do you wish to try? What do you wish to try again? You who are at the shrine of Goat versus Fish, what do you wish to try again? Let's try new verses. Oh, it's not so large. But that's okay. We make it larger. Ah, but it's so blurry. Does not look so pleasant when you look at it like this. That does not look so pleasant at all to Goat versus Fish. Maybe if we triple the verses. But that's what happens when you verses from afar, isn't it? Goat versus Fish. Fencily things, fencily things. Why these fencily things? Goat versus Fish does not know. You wish to try again looking for a job. Ah. What sort of job are you looking for? Would it be any kind? Would it be the any kind that we've heard so much about? Ah, well, perhaps you can. Well, perhaps you can. Perhaps you can go out into the world and use your instrument, and you could make some musications and get someone to give you some Verse American dollars. Oh, we've heard of that. A bud tender, you say? Oh, we've heard of that. There is a demand. There is a demand. There is a demand. Fence is that? Oh, my verses. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Well, goat versus fish, we'll just have to ask for them to versus it again. We'll just have to ask for them to versus it again. Unfortunately, I'm looking for a very unique job where they actually pay an appropriate amount for my labor. Ah! We're not sure there's any of those anymore. If there ever was. Some goat and fish are so rare as to be thought extinct. One where your surplus is not slogged off by those lazy eels. Ah, the eels, yes. Blame the eels. Blame the eels. Okay, goat and fish. Goat versus fish, we must make a request. Goat vs. Fish is here for your conversation when you are ready with Goat vs. Fish. The shrine of Goat vs. Fish eternally spins. Lay your head, Keepa or Keepo, and dream of triumph in the mighty verses. Goat versus Fish. Goat. Fish. Goat vs. Fish has now a new thumbnail to make. A thumbnail for tomorrow's verses. Behold, the current thumbnail of Goat vs. Fish. Now, here at the Shrine of Goat vs. Fish, you will witness the making live of the thumbnail of Goat vs. Fish. For usually, Goat vs. Fish might make a thumbnail in one place, but for whatever the verse is, we make the thumbnails for the living streams live in OBS. So you just get to see it. You get to see it all. You get to see it all. You can say Goat vs. Fish. And here we have Goat vs. Fish. Very fine verses. Well, perhaps we should leave Goat vs. Fish as it is. But then we have another. Oh, look, it's back when it was unification time. Take this verses. Go to this place. And who's this? Oh, look who's back! It's Carolyn Glode back in Goat vs. Fish. Here to sing us a song. They're going to be another guest. They're back. They're going to be back on Goat vs. Fish tomorrow for more verses. Perhaps we go like this. Let's go like this, and then we put behind Goat vs. Fish. Behind Goat vs. Fish. Well, if it's behind Goat vs. Fish, behind Goat vs. Fish, but in front of the fish. Move Goat vs. Fish. Above the verses like this. Goat vs. Fish. Maybe Goat vs. Fish doubles the verses. Maybe we double the verses. Is that even versible? Ponder, Goat vs. Fish. Yes, we believe it is. So we do this. We double the verses. Double the verses, and then we take Goat vs. Fish. We ponder, Goat vs. Fish. This may not be versible. Oh, why the fence do you do that? Ah! Strange to Goat vs. Fish. Why would it do this? You do this, and then there's no verses whatsoever. It makes no sense. It makes no fence. Celebration for goat, Big Rig. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Goat versus fish. So we could, let's see, what if we do this? So we know precisely whence it is. Same with this versus. Precisely whence it is. Maybe we lock the verses. Lock. Lock. Hmm. GM goat versus fish. Grand Master goat versus fish. New Vegas. Do you want goat versus fish to be the GM? Are you starting a new campaign? Do you want goat versus fish in your DMs? What are you saying? What are you saying to goat versus fish? Ah. We thought you were saying Grandmaster goat versus fish. Well, forgive goat versus fish. And a mighty goat versus fish to you too. A mighty morning to you, New Vegas 10,000. Are you goat or fish? Let us start this conversation. This conversation that always begins with the one true question. We are, after all, at the shrine of goat versus fish. Why shouldn't it begin with the one true question? Fish. Big fish versus. Goat. Celebration for goat. New Vegas goat. What is the fish you versus today? What is today's fish? What's the catch of the day? Goat versus Fish did rest today. Goat versus Fish did rest today. It seems these verses, you can't get enough rest of Goat versus Fish. It seems you can't get enough rest. We are pleased we got rest too. Well, it's still quite early for Goat versus Fish. It's still merely 12:37 a.m. for Goat versus Fish. We have made our consumption. It's true. What was the consumption of Goat versus Fish? Why, it was the mighty stew of Goat versus Fish. The stew that they said took too long. The stew they said that took too long. But we still consume it. We ate some vegetation. Already, it was back on Goat vs. Fish morning motivational number 18 and number 22. Salutation, Bud Morgan. Welcome to the eternal shrine of Goat vs. Fish. You make some strange sounds to Goat vs. Fish. A bleh and a blurp. Do you require aid? Do you require aid from the shrine of Goat vs. Fish? Has Goat vs. Fish played Resident Evil 9 yet? It looks pretty cool. Goat vs. Fish has not played Resident Evil 9. Goat vs. Fish has scarcely played any of the Resident Evils. We played some of 1 or 2. We remember there was an herb. We remember mixing herbs. And Goat vs. Fish remembers Silent Hill. Bud Morgan, you seek unification. Here at the shrine of Goat vs. Fish, it is a fine place. It is a fine place to seek unification. But even as you seek unification, a mighty verse roils within you. To form the unity of goat fish, it requires a goat and a fish to come together. To come together in celebration of the unification of goat and fish, but it is not something that can be done alone. If you seek unification, first you must answer the one true question: are you goat or fish? Then a goat must seek out fish, and a fish must seek out goat, and together you set aside the verses and form the unity of goat-fish. It is very easy to wish for unification among the goat and fish from afar. To claim and proclaim that goat and fish should form a unification. It is quite another to go about it yourself. In unification, the flesh of the goat and fish may become intertwined. If you want to be a four-legged shark with horns, then be the goat or be the shark, and then find another one with which to intertwine. Maybe that's what you've been seeking this whole time. Intimacy between goat and fish. The sacred shrine of goat versus fish is sanctified by your presence. Sanctified by your presence. Oh, my verses. The singer for Bonehenge follows Goat vs. Fish. Isn't that a nice verses? Maybe we should get this singer for Bonehenge on Goat vs. Fish. There are so many we need to make invitation. So many guests for Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish needs to spend more verses booking guests on Goat vs. Fish. We tried this versus. We tried to get Chip Nicholson once again, but twice now. They did not arrive for Goat vs. Fish. Pitiable. Perhaps in a future versus, we shall try again. The Eternal Shrine of Goat vs. Fish. This Eternal Shrine of Goat vs. Fish has a glorious 1 watch hour of Goat vs. Fish, thanks to Bud Morgan and Sensual Sloth and Light Surgical Funeral. That 1 hour is 1,000th, 1/3,000th of the watch hours needed. But you never know what's going to happen when you go live on Goat vs. Fish. But we always take pride in Goat vs. Fish. That 1 hour will count as a beautiful versus, a glorious testament to the power of Goat vs. Fish forever. An entire hour of Goat vs. Fish, of which we are proud. 2,277 out of 3,000. We're almost there, Goat and Fish. We're almost there. We suppose we could leave on the Eternal Shrine of Goat vs. Fish all night if we wish. But Goat vs. Fish won't be there to be speaking unto you, and Goat vs. Fish does not wish in any way to fancify the consideration of Goat vs. Fish when it comes to monetization. We don't want to do it again. We don't want to have to do it again. 733 to go, indeed. Indeed, 732 if you count this versus. So we'll see you on the next verses of Goat vs. Fish. This has been none other than Real Shrine Hours. If you wish to pre-like the next stream, you can at the verses that Goat vs. Fish has posted in the chat. We appreciate your time with Goat vs. Fish here at the Perpetual Shrine. Did Goat vs. Fish get done all that we wished? Well, we got done some. And that may not seem like much. but it is cause for celebration. The Mighty Versus continues tomorrow on Goat vs. Fish. And it was written, and it was written.